Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All-American Otaku Show. This episode, we're going to review and talk about the anime that has two seasons in DaDaDan. For starters, this anime is probably one of the most weirdest anime as I've ever seen, and I've seen fully coolly. The idea there's aliens, there's ghosts, there's mediums, there's superpowers, there's a whole lot of different shonen anime elements all wrapped into one. It starts off with a seemingly normal girl who's going on a date of a anime character she likes because this character had the same name as him. She ends up kicking him, and he ends up blocking and knocking her over. And it's like, if you don't go with me or get laid with me or give me money, what use you are? So he breaks up. So she fills in the dumps. And her friend says, "Why did you go out with this guy? This guy is a bad guy and this guy is useless." And she's like, "He has the name of the anime character I like." And then eventually she meets this guy called Okarun, who actually has the same name, but calls him Okarun, who's kind of nerdy into cryptics, into aliens, and various unusual aspects that you find in like world news, as well as The Inquirer and various other books of that ilk. This anime starts off feeling very pop or 50s pop with the monsters of the week and various other aspects of it. It while he goes like, "I believe in aliens and this is where alien sites are go there. Well, I believe in ghosts." He's like, "No, ghosts don't exist." They both agree that believe that both sides don't exist, so they both have a bet. If you whoever wins the bet, the other one has to do what they say and work with the other person. She goes to an area where the aliens are, and he goes to where the ghosts are. Well, it turns out that they're both right. He ends up meeting the ghost named Turbo Granny later on, who possesses him and removes his banana. And she meets his ghosts or aliens who want to go with her inner banana. Banana as a euphemism for something else, obviously. And eventually he ends up with as possessed with her with the spirit comes in there and saves her from these aliens who are trying to do things to her. And eventually you meet up the grandma who is a medium that's on TV that exorcises ghosts and has this really good house and stuff. And eventually Okarun lives there, but he's stuck there. And she's like, "What'd you do with Okarun?" And she's like, "What'd you think I did with Okarun?" And she's like, "Oh, you didn't F him, did you?" And she goes there, "Oh, he's alive in this thing, and we have these things to keep the Turbo Granny away." And eventually that's became the headlining of this anime first season is to try to get her free from this spirit, and then eventually they get more aliens, and then you have this other girl who comes in play after they get rid of this Turbo Granny. He gets his banana back, but he loses his balls. And this other girl, popular girl, who's talking about justice and life and strength and power, ends up with one of his balls who end up being gold and thinking it's a holy object because it came from the sky and what have you, and tries to put it on that one girl's like, "I'm going to exorcise the demon and make you more human and bring you to justice." And he's trying to use his ball to do this to show the obscurity of this anime. Eventually he gets it back, and this girl ends up becoming main cast. As season one ends, there's another caster, kind of a space guy who's always happy and loves spring there, who ends up being the former crush of the main female lead. And it ends with the grandma says, "I will pay for your school uniforms forever, both of you, if you go there and help this guy out and exorcise this house of all the ghosts." So they go into this house where there's a hot springs, and she goes into the hot springs, and you see these guys who come in there, and they're like, "Oh, have you ever seen a crocodile?" Says, "Oh, you mean like the lizard?" And they're like, "No, like a guys who go under the water, come there and stalk naked girls." She ends up going underwater, getting choked while naked in the hot springs, and you hear the guys like her scream, and they come there, and that's how season 1 ends. Season 1, 2, it starts off where more of the same. They go there, rescue her, and you find out the people there are people that this guy was living with and working for them as a kind of like a servant type thing. Didn't know what their activities or how perverted they're. Ends up into a more cartoonish style fight until the ground breaks and you realize that the female lead actually has powers of psychic and things that could cause things to grab on and move up and things like that. They find out they fight this worm. They fight the people there, and the soul is to try to save the town. They sacrifice and the volcano and stuff. That goes into more organized chaos. Without spoiling any more than I have, this anime keeps on leaning on into the more obscure. They even added a character called the Evil Eye. They added more girl characters, a perverted type nerd character. They added mecha elements and very even kaiju elements, things that existed in various Japanese culture as well as pop culture elements of like the 30s or 60s or 50s. This anime is very must see, but it borderlines on the very obscure and the very weird, and a lot of reference and a lot of pop references that some and most people wouldn't get right off the bat. I highly recommend this anime to anyone who wishes to see the weird and see something that is borderline different but still wholesome and still great and all in the same thing. It leaves you on with cliffhangers. It leaves you wanting more in each episode, and more you go into the weirdness, and it goes to the signal of what is it anime. It's not just the superheroes and fight scenes or even the comedy scenes. The anime is also about the weird and the obscure and the silly and the slapstick. This is one of the reasons we fell in love with anime in the first place, is to lean on to the crazy and the fun. I give this anime a 5 out of 5, a must see. Thank you.
Welcome to the show where anime dreams come alive. Let's go! All-American Otaku Show, diving deep into the anime tide. From the screen to the page, we're turning every stage. All-American Otaku, where worlds collide. From the 90s till now, the passion's been real. Anime and manga, it's how we feel. Conventions and scenes, cooking up dreams. Japanese culture bursting at the seams. On the 90s till now, the passion's been real. Anime and manga, it's how we feel. Conventions and scenes, cooking up dreams. Japanese culture bursting at the seams. All-American Otaku feel the vibe, diving deep into the anime tide. From the screen to the page, we're turning every stage. All-American Otaku, where worlds collide. I'm a there, Mr. Pat by my side. Exploring every genre, let's take that ride. From action to drama, it's all here. Community strong, let's make it clear. Otaku dreams, we're chasing the light. Exploring new stories every day and night.